With the Primaris Marine built, I was eager to begin painting. First, I needed to take time to look at the model and pick out any key features I wanted to highlight and grab people's attention. This would start with the barrel of the bolt rifle, encouraging the viewer to look down the arm of the Marine, eventually arriving at the helmet. Following this, the eye should travel down to the Imperialis on the chest before the bright red of the left gauntlet attracts the eye, bringing attention to the chainsword held ready to strike down another foe. I had mixed results throughout the paintwork as I rediscovered my old painting styles and techniques, but overall I think it turned out great. This is Cursed Crusader Arts. It was important to ensure that I could meet the demands of the paint job using only the paints provided in the Citadel Paints and Tools set. This includes the base colours Abaddon Black, Nagaroth Night, Macragge Blue, Corax White, Wraithbone, Mephiston Red, Bugman's Glow, Lead Belcher, and Balthazar Gold. The kit also came with a layer paint, Thunderhawk Blue, the shade, Agrax Earthshade, the contrast paint, Magos Purple, and the technical paint, Armageddon Dust. Alone, the paints would provide some challenge, however, mixing them on my wet palette would provide more options and flexibility to take my miniature to another level. I started off with a base coat of Abaddon Black. This was done over the course of 2 layers to ensure full coverage and ensure that the more transparent colours would show up darker instead of allowing the lighter colour of the grey plastic to shine through. Following this, I layered on some Nagaroth Night. This would help set the more purple tone of the miniature as I was trying to capture the purple tint that is found on some of the Crimson Fist's art, instead of the much brighter blues that we're more likely to see now. I feel that this darker colour not only helps to separate them from the Ultramarines colour palette, but it would also help to set that darker look that I associate with their heroic but grim history. Now it was time to add the blue colours. I began with Macragge Blue, layering it on a majority of the armour plates, only avoiding the deepest of recesses so that the purple could show through. After this, an equal combination of Macragge Blue and Thunderhawk Blue was thinly layered on top, once again making sure to leave those deep recesses purple. I had also made sure that all the pipes found throughout the model, such as the exhausts on the utility pack, joints in the arms and legs, and the pipes on the helmet were painted with a layer of Lead Belcher. The same had also been done with the teeth and exhaust of the chainsword and the metals of the bolt rifle. The final main piece to base coat was the left gauntlet that would be painted red according to Crimson Fist tradition. This was done by using Mephiston Red, using several thin layers until the black paint underneath no longer showed through. This would provide a nice smooth finish to work with later without destroying the detail of the stylized iron cross that was adorned on top of it. I was excited to get my hands on the Magos Purple, and it was the paint that really helped sell the concept of painting this Primaris as a Crimson Fist. The last time I was in the hobby, Citadel hadn't really started making these contrast paints, so our only real options were shades and other watered down paints. The contrast paint would stain the surface of the model, whilst also shading the deep recesses, so it was perfect to paint over the top of the blues. This would bring the paintwork closer to the artwork that I was basing my miniature off. Crimson Fist art can sometimes be inconsistent, changing the armor colour from purplish blues to a blue like an ultramarine, or even a very bright blue that almost looks like it has a hint of turquoise to it, much like the Sons of Horus when they repainted their armour from the white greys when they were the Lunar Wolves. Once again, several layers of Magos purple was used to build up this translucent purple effect. I also gave all the weapons, exhaust and pipes a wash of Agrax Earthshade, making sure that the metallics were given enough definition to allow the details to show through. These metals were some of my biggest challenges because I only had one tone of silver metallic paint to work with, so there were no brighter shades to use on top to provide highlights. So I decided to ensure that the whole miniature was dark enough to hide this by providing a muted tone throughout. As I began to think about the placement of lighting and trying to accentuate the details, I used a watered down layer of pure Macragge blue to smooth out the streaky effect left behind by my use of the contrast paint. After this, I used another very thin layer of Thunderhawk blue mixed with a small amount of Wraithbone, applying it to the higher surfaces of the armour that I wanted people to focus on. As I had thinned down the paint so much, it would dry very dark, allowing the previous layers to show through. I made sure to paint the holster with Bugman's Glow and give it a heavy wash of Agrax Earthshade. The Purity Seal parchment was painted with Wraithbone, highlighted with Corax White, and text added with Abaddon Black. They were then washed with Abaddon Black watered down with Agrax Earthshade. The wax for the seals were painted like the Red Gauntlet, but instead of a wash I used Magos Purple, and then highlighted it with a very thin layer of Bugman's Glow mixed with Wraithbone. The shoulder pads were free-handed, a skill I am not very good at, but I managed to add the chapter and squad iconography. The base was given a thick layer of Armageddon dust before being painted with Bugman's Glow and heavily washed with Bugman's Glow mixed with Abaddon Black and thinned down. I liked this muddy look so much that I roughly applied it to the feet and the bottom parts of the Primaris' legs to make it look like he had been traversing through the battlefield. Overall, this miniature turned out very well, and allowed me to get used to the range of paints again, whilst also trying out some new techniques. I lost a lot of footage along the way, but I hope this method has been captured well enough to show my ideas as I went through the process of painting. There are a few mistakes that could be cleaned up, such as the eye lenses and mistakes on the power pack and the back of the leg, but I am choosing to leave them as they are for future reflection. But these could easily be turned into a variety of types of battle damage, such as chipped paint or cracked eye lenses. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm eager to hear how you might have approached this project with the limited paints and the single paintbrush provided by the Citadel Starter Set.